What's up gamers, Dreamcast Guy here, and this week is the 1-year anniversary of the Nintendo Switch. This thing has already been on the market for 12 months and has been selling like crazy. So today, I kind of just want to talk about my thoughts, because I've actually had this thing since day one. I seriously waited in line to make sure I was one of the first people in Texas to have this device, and now, all these months later, I kind of just wanted to give my impressions, sort of a year in review. First and foremost, I want to talk about what surprised me the most, which is the games themselves. Now that seems obvious, but any console lives or dies just about how fun it is to play. And this thing is a bombshell. Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Golf Story, Splatoon 2. Every single month, they came out with something that just kind of blew me away. Especially stuff like Splatoon 2. That's a game where the first one was really fun, but something about getting to play the sequel portably and actually really kind of enjoy this bigger screen was a really big change. And that's also kind of what makes me think about the fact that the Nintendo Switch is a lot more powerful than I initially thought. So when I was first reading about the specs and stuff, honestly, I thought it was dramatically underpowered. That was one of my biggest concerns overall going into it, was the fact that the graphics on this thing would suck. Because, let's face it, this is a tablet. It is very thin, and anything you're going to be putting in this thing hardware-wise is going to have to be, well, a little bit smaller. And it still looks so good. Like, obviously, right now, I have Mario Kart 8 on this thing, and it looks freaking fantastic. On top of that, though, something else that kind of really impressed me about this is that it is so fast. So I play PlayStation 4 more than anything, but that is a console that has a lot of startup time. When you're just trying to actually play something like Fortnite, it can sometimes be 2 to 5 minutes between when I press on and when I'm actually in the game. Whereas the Nintendo Switch is so lightning quick. Seriously, right now, I've just put it into sleep mode, I can press on, and within a second, I am right back into the game. This was clearly designed to be as quick as possible. Like right now, just for the heck of it, I'm going to switch games. Let's just go to Splatoon 2 since I was just talking about that. Bam. Literally, closes one application, starts the next application in less than a minute. Nintendo was really smart because they realized that something that people want the most when it comes to gaming is instantness. That's something that I feel like we take so much for granted, which is just the ability to kind of jump in and out of every single experience. To switch games, and if one of our friends comes over and we want to play something co-op, we can instantly jump into this. You know, something else that also kind of caught me off guard is I really like the controller for the Nintendo Switch a lot. I'm going to switch this right now, and it is literally this easy. Literally, change, you snap these off, you snap it onto this, and you know what? I like how square this thing is. I really kind of was blown away by the fact that I like stuff that's really different and unique. I've played so many thousands of games at this point on so many hundreds of different game consoles. I kind of like when something feels different in my hands, but still so good. This controller is so refined. I put over 100 hours into Zelda Breath of the Wild, and all of it with just this standard controller. I do have a Pro controller, and I do like the Pro controller a lot, but something about the standard one really kind of blew me away the most. It's just so simple and straightforward. That's kind of the theme overall when it comes to Nintendo Switch, is just everything trying to be as simple as absolutely possible, especially when it comes to playing on the go. Because let's face it, this is the biggest feature of the Nintendo Switch, is portability. This is supposed to be basically a giant ultra fancy 3DS, and they've nailed that. I like that it's able to just be so easy to use. It's nice that I can just drop it into my bag, pick it up, and in seconds be back to playing whatever I was playing at home. The ability to shift it from a console experience to a mobile experience so fluidly is a crazy, dramatically smart design choice. But I do want to say there are some downsides to the Nintendo Switch. I love the games, I love the controller, I love all the portability aspect to it, but I still think that this console has two really big problems that I'm hoping get addressed in the next year. One of them being Virtual Console. We still do not have Virtual Console, and that's really a giant detriment in my opinion. This console is so good on the go. It has such a giant screen, it has a really actually good online store for the first time, so why can't I buy anything retro? Specifically stuff like some really big RPGs. Think about all the great stuff that's on Super Nintendo that people would happily pay $5 or $10 for. Right now they just released Chrono Trigger on Steam, and it's a dumpster fire of a port. If you just brought over the original Super Nintendo version to this console, it would be a multi-million bestseller. So the idea that you guys are just leaving so much money on the table is baffling, A, and also it's a little bit disappointing. I really love retro games, and I want them on this gadget. So the fact that they're not still on there, even a year into it, is really kind of disappointing. And another thing is, I still think that the online on this could be dramatically better. It's solid. When I'm playing matches, I don't run into lag, and I don't usually get kicked randomly. But the fact that there still is not voice chat, in my opinion, is a massive detriment, especially when you're releasing games that are built upon voice chat. Payday 2, for example. This is a very intricate heist-based game. You need to be able to talk to your teammates, calling out targets, and being able to communicate when you pick up different power-ups. The fact that I cannot plug a headset into this is still kind of aggravating, especially because people have actually opened up this thing, they've unscrewed this and discovered that there is definitely the technology in here to recognize a headset. Why can't I talk with my friends? Why can't I at least have some sort of system where if I have somebody on my friends list, clearly it's somebody I trust, why can't I hear their voice or at least have some sort of text chat? These are small problems and something that will be fixed in the coming year. But overall, I'm still just so in love with this gadget. Nintendo managed to win us all over by just giving us the games we didn't know we wanted. I love that I can play so many different indie games specifically on this thing. I love that it's become a handheld that sort of fits into a blurry area. It's not quite a home console, it's not quite a handheld, it's a little bit of both. I'm hoping that they just come out with some bigger and more dramatic improvements. And honestly, if I had to make one prediction for Switch Year 2, is I do think that we're probably going to be getting some sort of hardware upgrade. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a more powerful Switch, but I think that we're probably going to get something that's going to be a more shrunken down version of this. And personally, I'm very excited to get my hands on that. Show us this thing become even more handheld focused and let this thing be the more console version. These are just kind of my random off-the-cuff thoughts on it though, because really, the Nintendo Switch is still such an incredibly impressive device. But what do you think about it? I know a ton of you probably have the Nintendo Switch, so tell me, what is the stuff that you love and hate the most? There's nothing wrong with kind of beating up on the stuff we enjoy most because, let's face it, this system is just going to keep getting bigger and better. Now, if you excuse me, I gotta go play some stuff right now. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Alright, now I'm switching over to Doom. I've mentioned this before, but Doom is seriously my favorite game just to goof off with in little 15-minute segments because it's so cool to get to literally rip apart zombies and monsters and demons on a tiny little handheld. This is the future of video games. Everything portable if you want it to be. Oh, hi. I'm just working on the next video. If you want to see what it is, go ahead and click this button and you can subscribe. Also, if you click these video links, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. Now I'm just going to sit here for a minute and wait for you to subscribe. Oh, I guess I could put on these giant glasses. I literally found these on a roller coaster.